Hey folks, Ken Poole here, sales representative with Keller Williams Experience Realty. Just here quickly to give you a stats update on what's going on in your local area, specifically across Simcoe County. Now this table you're seeing here, these are all numbers pulled from across Simcoe County on BDAR, which is the Barrie Real Estate Board. So about 95% of listings that show up in Simcoe County are going to end up on this board. So the numbers you're seeing here, the number of new listings, that's how many listings came onto the board that week. So arbitrarily, this just starts in mid-January. You can see the number of new listings is increasing steadily. And then as we get into February, it really starts rocketing upwards. Those percentage numbers is how much of a percentage increase in new listings it is compared to the week before. And what we saw from February through into March was, generally speaking, it was on the rise. A couple weeks there it came back a little bit, but it was rising. And then the last few weeks it's been dropping a bit, okay? So we're monitoring that. As the listings were surging upwards, though, inventory was increasing. Now what happens when inventory increases? Well, then there isn't so much demand on every particular listing, which reduces pressure on prices rising so aggressively, okay? So for those of you that think that, well, I should sell this month for $75,000 more than my neighbor sold last month, not true. Not necessarily anyways, I should say. Now the canceled or expired, that column there is just how many were canceled or expired combined. You'll see here the last few weeks, look at this, 64, 58, 68. That's how many in that particular week were either canceled or expired. So it's not a lock just to sell right now. Just because you put your listing on, you can't just demand whatever you want and it's going to sell. There are some people out there that believe that's still the case. It's not true. Yes, we're still seeing incredible success in listing selling for what some would say are insane prices. However, it does not mean that it's a lock. Right now, strategy is more important than it's been for months. Now, the next table I'm going to show you here, there's some other stuff in that table. I'm going to show you in the graph here how things are going in terms of new listings versus how many were taken off the board. Now, taken off the board is just if it was sold, or it was canceled, or it expired, it came off the board, right? And then obviously new listings speaks for itself. So if the number that was taken off the board is higher than how many were listed, that means that our inventory shrunk, right, that week, versus if more showed up on the board than were taken off, then our inventory grew. So you can see, if you kind of start here looking at towards the end of January and into February, each of those weeks for several weeks running had more listed than were taken off the board. So that's why our inventory really grew during that time, and the market started to soften a little bit, gave a little bit of relief. Instead of getting 20 offers on offer night, you're getting 3 to 5 in a lot of cases, right? So, and then if you look here towards the last few weeks, look in that March 15th to 21st timeline there, you'll see that for the first time in several weeks, the number taken off the board exceeded how many were put on the board. And then it's kind of been running in and around that kind of situation. Now, also, as you can see, the number of listings coming on has been dropping. So things have been happening. I don't know if this is a little lull over the last few weeks until the next surge after Easter weekend. It all depends. Keep in mind, this time back in around early February, that was when the kids went back to school. Now, you know, as of today, Simcoe County, kids are still going to school, but lots of other areas are starting to keep kids at home. So that can have an impact in the way that things go as well. And the last thing I'm going to show you here is just generally speaking, from January 18th to now, up to Sunday, this past Sunday, I should say, what our inventory growth has looked like in Simcoe County. So you'll see here that, you know, as of the start of February up until early March, we really surged in inventory. So the market has changed a little bit since then. However, just over the last couple of weeks, and specifically last week, the amount of inventory got gobbled, that was bought up or canceled exceeded how much was listed, so it swung a little bit back in the seller's favor last week. So this is why speaking with a professional regularly, staying on top of the market is super important. There's so much more to the strategy than just put it on the market, it'll sell itself. It's not true, folks. Make sure you get a professional opinion. Thanks so much for watching. I've got so much more to share, but I wanted to keep this as brief as possible. Thanks. Hope you're all well. Take care. Stay safe.